Honorable Speakers, honorable members, to accelerate the turnaround of our micro, small, and medium enterprises under the ease of doing business government agenda, my administration has implemented remarkable reforms over the years. These measures have not only improved the country's business climate, they have also mitigated the challenge and bottlenecks impacting business. The key reform that we have implemented include the full automation of business registration services, re-engineering of the application for power, water, and sewer connection, and the automation of the land registration process. In addition, we have adopted e-payment, e-filing, and e-service at the commercial divisions of the High Court and fully operationalized the Small Claims Court, which has seen disputes involving SMEs, mostly our young people, being resolved within a record 60 days and thus freeing capital locked up in legal disputes. Equally important is the full automation and streamlining of the payment of taxes in order to ease the burden of compliance and the redesigning of the import and export processes, which has reduced the cost while improving efficiency of our ports, among other notable reforms. Mr. Speakers, as an affirmation that our reforms on ease of doing business are bearing dividend, just last week we scored a global first with the President of the European Investment Bank, who was in the country to witness the official opening of the European Investment Bank's first regional hub outside the European Union. The Nairobi Regional Hub will cover 11 countries in Eastern and Central Africa and will act as a pilot for the setting up of other EIB regional hubs into the future. This speaks to our administration's agenda to position Nairobi as an international financial center. Under the state of our economic development, I will report on two frames that have guided me and my administration. These are economic acceleration and the big push investments. Allow me, honorable members, to start with economic acceleration. When my administration took office in April of 2013, we were eager to multiply what was bequeathed to us. And I am happy to report to this Parliament that we have multiplied our critical fundamentals in ways that even I did not imagine possible. For instance, in 2013, Kenya was Africa's 12th wealthiest nation with a GDP of 4.74 trillion Kenya shillings. This GDP was accumulated in a span of 123 years through 4 administrations before ours, because I include the colonial administration. In just 8 years, my administration has multiplied the GDP by a factor of 2+. Today, our GDP stands at Kenya shillings 11 trillion, up from the 4.75 trillion, and from being ranked as the 12th wealthiest nation in Africa when I took over, we have now moved 6 ranks to become the 6th wealthiest nation in the continent on account of the choices that we have made. And as I said earlier, in the second quarter of this year, our real GDP grew by 10.1%, the first such growth in the history of our economy. The notable contributions to this growth include the ICT sector, which grew by a significant 25.1% in the second quarter of 2021. In fact, the ICT sector is projected to become a prime mover of our economic growth in years to come. Other sectors that contributed significantly to the real GDP in the reference quarter include the transport sector, which grew by 16.9%, and manufacturing, which grew by a record 9.6%. However, the hotel industry presents a more compelling picture of recovery from the COVID menace. At the height of the COVID pandemic in 2020, this industry registered a negative growth of 63.5% in the third quarter of 2020. During the first quarter of 2021, this industry showed some improvement and contracted by 48.8%. By the second quarter of 2021, this industry was on a path of recovery and had grown by 9.1%, showing a remarkable upturn. While most economies in the world shrunk, Kenya's economy grew at 0.3 during the 2020 period, despite the COVID challenge. Although this positive growth was minimal, the second quarter of 2021 registered the most impressive growth ever recorded in our nation's real GDP. During the second quarter of 2021, real GDP recorded a phenomenal 10.1% growth, and this is the highest growth ever recorded in one quarter in Kenya's history. It is also the first time Kenya has hit a double-digit growth number. The last time Kenya's economy got close to this kind of performance was in 2010, during the Grand Coalition government, when the economy hit an 8.4% growth rate. And it was this impressive trajectory that led me to announce the 13-point interventions unveiled on Mashujaa Day this year to cushion the economy with a further Kenya shillings 25 billion as our third stimulus package, pushing the aggregate of our stimuli over the COVID period to Kenya shillings 257 billion.